Hello and welcome back to Remember the Flowers. We will be continuing where we left off, which, if you recall, is, I believe, after Cyrus and Silver left the Resistance in order to complete Cyrus's little initiation mission, which is where he's supposed to gather a whole bunch of lodestars in order to be able to weaponize them, how he did when he successfully fought off King and blew off his arm. And yeah, basically that was it. We will actually not be following Cyrus right now. We will actually be focusing on Lance. Because if you recall, he is also being set up on his first... Well, not actually, no, he's had a whole bunch of missions. His mission right now is to basically work alongside King, Saber, and Patsy to locate Cyrus. Because he is a pristine carrier and because Darius wants him back for reasons that we don't know of yet. I mean, we can kind of guess as to why he wants him back because of some context clues that were given. Allegedly, but like, yeah. Anyways, so we haven't seen much of Remember the Flowers in a while, but like, yay, it's back, I guess. I mean, it's an interlude. Yeah, that's what it's called. So, yeah. Anyways, so I guess without further ado, let us dive back into Remember the Flowers with Interlude III. Remember the Flowers Part 2. Actually, I think this actually marks the beginning of the second part of Remember the Flowers. We had another fight. Aaron hates the ocean, so this is where I go when I need to get away from him. No, not just him. Sometimes I come here to get away from everything else too. The sharp, nostalgic scent of salt tickles my nose. I take another deep breath, holding it in. There was a time when his voice used to make me feel safe, when 3 simple words could keep me grounded. But when I imagine Aaron trying to say those words now, I can't stand it. I'm interrupted by a strange sensation around my legs. Am I sinking? Oh, damn it. I reach down to roll my pants up, thought they don't get wet, though I'm already too late. Strange. I can't feel the water. My fingers drag along the surface. The pressure is there, but nothing else. Standing upright, a wave of dizziness hits me hard, and my focus slips. What was I doing just now? Hey, Lance! My ears perk up. And that voice. I run towards the beach. An antlered silhouette stands on the shore, barely illuminated by the pale moonlight. He's motioning for me to come back. Did I really walk this far out? I try making my way to the shore, but each step that I take only lets the tide pull me out further. I try calling to him, but nothing comes. The ocean is lapping at my waist now. And the whole time, he just keeps waving, like nothing's wrong, like he's not miles away. I don't know how long that I've been trying to reach the shore. It feels like an eternity. Without warning, the weight holding me down disappears and I stumble forwards onto my knees. And then, I'm on the beach. Just like that. A familiar soft chuckle draws closer until he's standing next to me. Is he laughing at me? I try to play it off with a stifled laugh of my own. Yeah, yuck it up. His scrawny ass still doesn't know how to swim. His laughter stops. I keep my eyes on his wet, sandy shoes. Is he mad at me again? I look up, hoping to see anything but disappointment in his eyes, but instead I'm met with something even worse. It's Aaron, and he's wearing that horrible expression that I'll never forget. No, Aaron, please don't. I still remember that uncontrolled rage on his face when he struck me that day. When he found out what I did, when he tossed me aside for good. My scars still burn. They were infected for so long. And even after they healed, I couldn't stop myself from crying. I was alone again, just like when I was at the start. I don't want to remember this. Please stop. I cover my eyes with both hands, grit my teeth, and beg for it to end. All that's left are memories. All that's left is me. Sometimes in the darkness, I hear him calling my name. I wish you'd stop running off on your own so much, Lance. Just talk to me. I slowly lower my hands. Reggie? My body jerks violently awake. There's a resounding thud as my head makes contact with the bunk above me. I pant, squinting at my surroundings while rubbing the tender spot on my forehead. Damn it. I draw in a heavy breath, then slowly let it out. These dreams have been getting worse. I can't remember the last time that I had a full night's sleep. But I'm resigned to being awake now, so I sit up and linger like that for a good minute. The room is dead quiet without anyone snoring above me. The Benji must be out and about. He is an early riser, so that's not surprising. I open my Axiom to see if anyone's left any messages. Nothing. Just how I like it. I groan, rub my face through my hands, and slide my feet out onto the cold floor. On mornings like this, hitting the gym is the best thing for me. It's the only way that I know to push through these thoughts. Despite all the bullshit, being a member of the Fraction has its perks. From the luxury food court to the fully equipped gym, it's almost possible to forget about the bomb around my neck. A vacation with no tourists. There's not a soul in here but me. My panting fills the quiet room, along with the rhythm to my fists along the punching bag. If I want to survive this place, then I'm going to need all the help that I can get. That goes for capturing Cyrus too. The thought still leaves a bad taste in my mouth, but I'll get over it. It's him or me. Sorry, Sai. I have to look out for myself now. Who knows? Maybe I'll finally get to beat the shit out of Aaron as well. For now, this punching bag will have to do. It's about the same size as him after all. Great practice. After about 30 minutes, I'm finally starting to work up a decent sweat. But, as if on cue, I'm interrupted. Oh, great. What the hell are you doing here? I take a steady breath and force myself to turn around. One of my new teammates, Saber, stands by the gym's entrance with a scowl on his face. What does it look like I'm doing? He rolls his eyes, and I grunt in frustration. That happy little squat that they promised me? Yeah, not even close. This asshole and his dog have had sticks up their asses ever since we met in the infirmary. Even King's gone cold on me since our first meeting. Not that I care. I just don't have the patience for any of their shit right now. Thought that you two were still in the hospital. Not that it's any of your business, but we were discharged last night. Oh, hi Lance, how's it? Saber tugs at his arm, shaking his head. Hey Lance. The wolf tries to look intimidating, but it looks more like constipation. I choke back a laugh. Guess I'll take my leave then. Have fun. Wait, don't you think that it'd be a good idea to practice our coordination? We're gonna be together most of the time now, after all. I work better alone. Patsy ignores that, looking at Saber for an answer rather than me. That's a good point. It'd be useful to learn how he fights. It'd be useful if either of you knew how to fight in the first place. I'm surprised that you didn't kick the damn bucket. Hey, cut in some slack. Neck wounds are no joke. And who's the one that put it there? That scrawny ex-prisoner of yours? Come on. Patsy's right. You two really need practice. I fold my arms. But then again, maybe you're better suited to playing traffic cop and patrolling the city, just like everyone else around here. Saber keeps scowling, while Patsy creases his brow. He just took me off guard, that's all. I've never seen someone move that fast before. We underestimated him, but that doesn't mean that you can underestimate us. I'd be better off just starting this mission on my own. Yeah, let's see how far that bravado gets you. You honestly think that you can bag him that easily? We're the ones who've seen him in action. He's clearly not the same Cyrus that you knew before. Don't be so naive. What's naive is you letting your guard down. Maybe you shouldn't underestimate your opponent next time. Maybe you shouldn't assume that I'm the kind of guy that you can mouth off to. In fact, why don't you get your ass over here and find out just how strong we really are? Saber cracks his knuckles in an attempt to intimidate me, only for Patsy to place a hand on his arm. Jeez, just ignore him, Saber. Then Patsy turns to me, an eyebrow raised. You know, maybe the reason that you work better alone is because nobody likes you. I don't need people to like me. Yeah, no kidding. Patsy sighs. Wolves run better in packs, Lance. Haven't you ever heard that old saying? Nope, can't say that I have. That's too bad. He smiles at Saber, tugging his arm. Come on, Saber. Kingo's right. Let's not waste our time. The dragon smirks. Let's get to it then. I can't help but snarl at the two as I walk past them. What a couple of tools. My Axiom beeps right as I burst out into the hallway. When I check it, a notification appears. It's a reminder for a mission that I was assigned to a week ago. I nearly forgot. I'm as good as dead as if I come back empty-handed. I swipe the Axiom scream away and head out. Anything's better than staying around those two. The coordinates that I was given lead me to one of the many shopping districts that circle around Resume's headquarters. I scratch my head in confusion. All the signs are so stylized, I can't even tell what language they're in, and the streets are so full I'm practically shoulder to shoulder. A whirling noise cuts through the air above me. I glance up just in time to see a massive bus flying by. I'll never get used to those things. You only ever see them in the more technologically advanced cities like Tunisia. But everything Tunisia has, Resume just about doubles. I turn the corner, still watching the traffic overhead, before nearly crashing into a fraction soldier stationed at the street's edge. He nods as I slide past him. I force myself to nod back. Just another one of many. This place is crawling with faction goons. I sigh before fiddling with my Axiom again. Resume's interactive map is about as useful as a blindfold. The only thing that it's good for is reminding me why I never leave headquarters. Lance? I jump when I hear my name from behind. What are you doing here? Shopping. Or trying to anyway. What about you? Benji raises the bag. Also shopping. Need some help? Not really. Unless you know where I can find some stuffed animals. Stuffed animals? You buying a gift for someone? Benji leans in and wiggles his eyebrows at me. Maybe someone special? Would you stop looking at me like that? It's not what you think. Okay, big guy. Come with me. I know just the place. Benji grabs my arm and starts pulling me along. Hey. Personal space, remember? You're gonna get lost out here if I don't take you by the hand. I grumble. This is way harder than living on the street. There's too many people to keep track of. Crowded places make me feel uneasy. Benji, though, doesn't have a care in the world as he drags me right through the doors of the building, much larger and wider than the others. I get plenty of gifts from my partner here. They have just about everything. Lovely. But does a shop really have to be this big? What? You mean the mall? The hell is a mall? You've never been to a mall? I snap at him. Does it sound like I've been to a mall? Sorry. I keep forgetting that you're new to the city. Benji chuckles at me. I've been to a few of the big cities before, just never for too long. Ah, I see. When I can afford it, I try to bring my kids here every once in a while. There's nothing like this out in the countryside. The more that I look around, the more overwhelmed that I am by the number of stores and stalls surrounding us. Each store that we pass has a new sign above it. Kinda reminds me of the black market. But for rich people, I guess. I wouldn't exactly call me rich. But yeah, that's pretty much it. You can find clothes, electronics, toys, just about anything really. Maybe I should show you the food court first. I groan and shove my hands into my pockets. Benji looks over at me. You know, gift shopping is supposed to be fun. I already told you that it's not a gift. It's more like a favor. Who's this lucky friend of yours anyway? That's a detail that Benji can't know about, but saying it's classified hasn't really worked out for me in the past. It's just a pen pal of mine. A pen pal? Yeah. Sometimes we send each other stuff. It's not a big deal. Right. What? Nothing. You just didn't strike me as the type that writes letters. Well, maybe you shouldn't be so quick to judge, huh? What the hell am I thinking? I can barely even write my own name. But if it gets him to back off, then it's fine. Lance, I'm sure that you're a man of many talents, but lying isn't one of them. Damn it. That's a good thing to be bad at, though. I mumble back at nothing reply. If Benji really knew anything about me, he'd never speak to me again, that's for certain. Some lies just come easier than others. So, about those stuffed animals, what's your budget looking like, bud? Budget isn't an issue. They're, good about compensating me. In that case, let's head down this way. There should be a novelty shop further back. Every now and then, Benji gets distracted by the various stalls set up between shops. I don't mind. I'm more than content just listening to him ramble on, happily bagging trinkets that he tells me his kids might like. At least, he's having a good time. It's not easy to do with me around. Wolves and packs. That Patsy guy just gets on my damn nerves. I can't let someone like him get stuck in my head. Yet, there he is. Now I can't stop myself from wondering. What does Benji think about me? Does he like me? Does he consider us friends? The only people who ever fit that label were Aaron and Reggie. And Cyrus. I don't think Benji wants to add himself to that list. Besides, I'm gonna be leaving as soon as I can anyway. We're standing by a stall covered in brightly colored treats when Benji nudges my shoulder. Whoa, check it out. They still have Muzzle Bunch in stock. Seriously, the best chocolates that I've ever had. Even if they make my stomach hurt sometimes. I thought that brand got all recalled, but I guess. Hey Benji? Yeah? I wanted to ask you something, but don't look too hard into it or whatever. Benji lifts an eyebrow. Are we friends? Huh? What do you mean? I blink, mouth open, then quickly stare up at the open skylight like an answer might fall through. Lines of flying cars above us stretch out like black spider webs. Nothing. Stupid question. Benji shakes his head. I must be doing a bad job if you have to go out of your way to ask. Of course we're friends, man. You think that I'd go plushie shopping with just anyone? Hell if I know. You seem like the type of guy that likes to go around helping others. Wouldn't be working at Resume otherwise, right? You got me there. Just take my word for it then. I nod back, though Benji doesn't look convinced. I don't mean to start prying now, but are you doing okay? With work and everything? Yeah, of course. He sighs and crosses his arms. It's okay to not be doing okay, you know. I grumble back. I'm just not super thrilled with my new team. One weekend and they're already pissing me off. Well, getting used to new teammates takes time. Time and mutual respect. Not to assume anything with that, but... You have a strong... personality. He smiles nervously, and I furrow my brows while looking the other way. Damn it. What's up? Nothing. It's nothing. I mean, they seem happy enough for me to join them last week. But now it's like a switch flipped and suddenly I'm the black sheep that doesn't fit in with their stupid little pack. The leader guy acts like I spit in his cereal every time that he sees me. Hasn't spoken a word to me in days. And the other two, his lackeys, one hates my guts and the other can't seem to shut the fuck up. Says that the only reason that I work better alone is because nobody likes me. And I mean, what the hell, right? That gets Benji to laugh. Sounds like you've got your work cut out for you. Assuming you want them to like you, that is. Of course not. It's just... It's always nice knowing why someone doesn't like you. But I can't think of anything I did wrong this time. Benji places a hand on my shoulder as we continue walking. Is it possible that they got the vibe that you didn't like them first? You don't do yourself any favors wearing that sour look all the time. Maybe try smiling next time that you see them? I grimace, staring at him for a moment. Have you seen my smile? Good point. I haven't had the pleasure. Yeah, whatever. You don't know what I have to deal with on a daily basis. I might have some idea. Having to deal with pissy teammates. I think that we wear the same shoes in that department. Nah, can't be that hard. But you just follow the doctor's orders and do some tests, right? Benji looks at me dumbfounded. Lance? What? My job is in pediatrics, meaning that I work with sick kids every day. As rewarding as that is, it's never easy. Sure, but what's that got to do with anything? Benji takes a deep breath and rubs his hands together. Sick kids lead to worried parents, and worried parents can be a handful. That can stress the whole team out. Tensions will get high, and teammates will get pissy. All I'm saying is that working with and around other people is never easy. Not for anyone. Yeah. I guess you're right. Luckily, our department chief manages to hold us all together. That way, every patient gets the care that they need, annoying or not. Benji thinks for a moment, then rubs over his left arm. He still has a scar on it from when I attacked him. Could be that your introductions need a little work as well. I feel my ears pin back as I clear my throat for an excuse. Not saying that I didn't deserve what I got, just that you might have rubbed them the wrong way is all. Even if you didn't mean to. He pets the scar again before folding his arms over his chest. The real pain in the ass was trying to convince Aiden that these wounds were an accident. Who the hell is Aiden? Oh, sorry. Aiden is my partner, remember? I wrinkle my nose at him. Ah. He leans in close to whisper. You didn't, hurt them, did you? Of course not. Wouldn't be wondering what pissed them off if I did. Okay, that's good. Now, and I don't mean to sound silly with this next question, but have you tried asking them what their issue is yet? I blink at the Shiba. He nods back sagely before I can answer, knowing full well that I haven't. Let me pry a little further then, if you don't mind. When you were living as a mercenary, did you ever have a place that you could call home? I've got a dingy apartment that I'm hoping to get back to. No. Like, did you have people around? A family? Maybe. Well, maybe that's it then. Maybe you just need to get used to being around people again. I groan and rub my face into my hands. You're taking this harder than I thought you would. That lackey guy who won't shut up said the same thing. Wolves and packs, or some shit like that. I see. I've actually heard that it's pretty common for wolves to end up as loners. Shoving my hands back into my pockets, I give a stoic nod. Funnily enough, I've also heard that group therapy works wonders for that particular, demographic. I like having my own space. Nothing wrong with that. True. As long as that's enough to make you happy. And you were happy before, right? When you were on your own? I shrug. Sure. Well, I don't know the kinds of people that you're teaming up with, but I still think that you should give them another chance. If for no other reason than to figure out what you did to piss them off. Sate your curiosity. All you risk losing is a bit of pride, which isn't a bad thing to be losing a bit of anyway. Right. I guess I could try that. The Benji breaks into laughter and pats me hard on the back. That's the spirit. Now let's get you that stuffed animal. Yeah. Thanks. And it would be funny watching you work in peds. Heck, you might even look great in scrubs. You do clean up pretty good. What? Benji's warm laugh cuts me off as I am pulled away towards a brightly lit store. I enter Vivian's chamber with one hand tugging at my collar and the other holding a stuffed tiger behind my back. It's hot as hell in here. Guess she's still trying to get those tropical plants working. I hear her humming behind a curtain of waxy leaves. She's got her headphones on, so I just kind of stand there waiting until she's done, my claws kneading into the plushy synthetic fur in the meantime. It takes a good deal of willpower not to squeeze the damn thing till its button eyes pop out. I think it's all the shitty sleep that I've been getting. Makes me more irritable. It's also making it harder to get on my own head. I try to focus on Vivian as she shuffles between two tall plants, misting their leaves with careful precision. It can't be just this shitty sleep. There's something else going wrong with me too. That's a fact. But what? The only obvious clue that I can think of is this heavy, sick feeling that's wriggling its way into my guts ever since I left the mall. Frustration, maybe? But at who? At Benji? Nah, that doesn't make sense. The feeling isn't at Benji, but more like for Benji, which doesn't make any sense either. It's almost like I want to apologize to him. But I don't know what I did wrong. Again. My claws sink further into the fabric. When Vivian spots me, she does a little jump, pulling me right out of my head and into the present. Jesus, you scared me. I offer back a smirk and a shrug. She reminds me so much of Cyrus. Something she calls heavy metal hums from her headphones as she takes them off. It's not my fault. You vanish into your own little world while that thing is on. got a fragile heart, Lance. Fragile. You know this. Remember what happened last time? I'd spooked her much worse then. Vivian's heart rate had spiked, and her breathing got all unsteady and painful. I was actually scared that I'd fucked up. Luckily, it didn't last too long. I got off with just a slap on the arm after she calmed down. How was I supposed to know that you had a heart condition? And for the record, both times were an accident. Turns out that I'm just naturally a scary guy. Yeah, well... Vivian turns to me with a loose smile, the music player squeezed in her hand. Not scary enough, I suppose. And you're late, you know. Easy, easy. I was held up for a good reason. I present the stuffed tiger to Vivian, and her eyes light up. Mission complete. Oh, he's so cute. If you say so. Here, knock yourself out. I plop it on her lap, then slink back to a chair beside the door. Vivian hugs around the plush with both hands. It's actually pretty big for someone her size. Thanks, Lance. I love him. I tell her to thank Dario instead, since his orders are the reason that I'm doing this in the first place. But the praise feels nice. No problem. I suppose that I'll forgive you for being late this time, but just this once. Yeah. She starts to stroke the fur on its face. It's been a long time since I've added someone new to my collection. Vivian wheels herself to her bed, which is covered in stuffed animals. Creepy. How do you even sleep with all those? Looks uncomfortable. Au contraire, sleeping is far more comfortable when you're surrounded by friends. Right. I'll tell you what is uncomfortable though, sleeping with a bunch of tubes in your back. She lets out a huff, resting her chin on her new plush. I keep telling them that I don't need to be plugged in all the time, but they're adamant about it. I think the top scientists in the world might know a little more about your life support than you. That may be, but those losers know nothing compared to my dad. Oh yeah? And where is he exactly? Wouldn't you like to know? What? Is that a secret too? They're a dog a bone already, damn. She giggles at that. Sorry, guy, but that's classified information. I blink. I know she's joking, but I hate being left in the dark. What's wrong? Nothing. I point to the plush in her hand. So, any reason that you wanted a tiger of all animals? I was just thinking about an old friend. Trying to anyway. One of my best friends was a tiger, you see. And it feels like I'm forgetting more and more about him each day. He was such a sweet and funny guy. She couldn't ask for a better friend. She sighs, gaze falling to the floor, the plush held tightly. A quiet moment passes before she snaps out of her thoughts and looks up at me again. Thanks for going through the trouble of finding this. Guess there is a sweetheart under that scary face after all. Again, don't worry about it. Again? Oh, sorry. Old lady memory and all. She continues to dote on the tiger in her lap. Tell me, Lance, is there anyone you miss? Not really. She gives me that same knowing look Benji had earlier. Well... Yeah? Go on. You never told me about your personal life. Like you're one to talk. She smiles innocently at that. But what can I say? There's not much to tell. Once, there was someone that I used to be close to. Now there isn't. The end. Not so fast. I need details. Who was this someone? What were they like? He was... Well... He was the only person that I ever really trusted. I guess. The only one? Must have been special. Yeah. What was his name? How did you meet? Reggie. And... I'm I'm not even sure how it started. You must remember something. What are you, in your 20s? 30s? At least I have an excuse. Yeah, fine. Alright. So, I wasn't very popular in the orphanage that I grew up in. Go figure. Never had the face or the patience for making friends, even when I was little. Then one day, I'm off on my own minding my own business, when here comes this scrawny L-kid demanding to hang out with me of all people. Pretty brave and pretty stupid, considering my reputation back then. I had my space other kids didn't mess with. But he didn't care. I don't know what his reason was for it. Maybe there wasn't one. But from then on, it was like he had glued himself to me, and there wasn't anything that I could do about it. That was really annoying. Though after weeks of eating together, taking naps together, reading together, it stopped being as annoying, I guess. Aw, that's so sweet. I totally pay to see a picture of angry puppy Lance. Even if I did have one, like hell that I'd ever show it off. Vivian laughs, and I grin in response. It's been a while since I really stopped to think about Reggie back then. It didn't take long for me to outgrow him. I remember the first time that he tried hugging me once his horns started coming in, and how I'd nearly lost an eye from that. Then I remember the last time that he hugged me, a brief arm around my side in passing. It was just routine at that point. I shake my head. Vivian is staring. I must have gotten lost in my thoughts again. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. What happened next? Right, so yeah, it turns out Reggie was kind of a brainiac. Always had his nose in some books. It took the adults a few years to catch on, but once they did, they sent him off to one of those fancy schools. And you? Yeah, right. I was never book smart like Reggie. He was always a brains, and I was a brawn. He did try to tutor me though. Of course, I could never keep up. I'm surprised that he pushed for me as long as he did. The guy had the patience of a saint. I sigh and loosen my shoulders. Always heard that the older siblings are the ones that you're supposed to look up to, because they know what's best. He was like that, like an older brother. Reggie was always right about everything. I hated it. Makes sense. You don't seem like the kind of guy who likes to be wrong much. Is there anyone who likes being wrong? Well, I'm glad that I was wrong about you for one. My mouth opens, but my brain doesn't put anything in it. And for two, being right all the time, it's actually kind of exhausting. I cross my arms and Vivian smiles. It's as you said, older siblings always know best. What? You got an older sister or something? Nope, I'm the only child, and by process of elimination, that means that I always know best. Uh-huh. She waves her finger at me, like she's teaching me a lesson. Hey, I might not look it, but I am wise within my years. You do well to treat your elders with respect. Right. She pouts, and her expression softens. By the way, you kept saying was. Did something happen to Reggie? He died. Oh. We're both silent just long enough to make me uncomfortable. My stomach's telling me that I should probably stop there, but I don't. Ever heard of the Resistance? I haven't. It's a rebel force trying to expose Resume. Good. Someone has to. Yeah, well, I used to be a part of it before I split off. Reggie too. One night we were out preparing for a rescue mission when Reggie got ambushed. They shot him. Then he bled out. At least that's what I was told. I wasn't with him when it happened. But I should have been. Aaron should have been. I ball up my fists hard to maintain my composure, something I'm not very good at. It's hard not to wonder how different things would be if he were still here. Maybe I wouldn't have become an attack dog. Maybe me and Aaron would have. And now, after all that, you're forced to work for Resume. I can see why you hate this place so much. And the moment passes as she watches me expectantly, waiting for an answer. Sure. Do you mind me asking how that part happened? I guess you could say that they caught me off guard. I point to the Arcadia collar. I can only do so much with this damn thing attached to my neck. I can't believe that I let him slip it on me so easily. I've seen other soldiers wearing those. From what they're saying, I can only assume that it's a tracking collar of sorts. Unfortunately. Sorry to hear that they've leashed you. But I'm sure that you have someone that you used to work with who cares about you. Someone on the Resistance? They must be worried, no? Vivian tilts her head. It's safe to say that I don't have anyone outside these walls anymore. If there is someone out there looking for me, they're not doing it for my benefit. Especially not them. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to touch so many sore subjects today. It's not that. I just... If I ever had a vision for my life, this wasn't it. That's just how it goes sometimes. A few centuries back, someone tried to save me from this place. There are some good people in Resume, as it turns out. But that didn't end well. Considering where we are, I can only imagine. They killed her right in front of me. And it was so long ago, I can't even remember her name anymore. Isn't that awful? Yeah, that sucks. I have to admit, someone saying centuries ago when recalling a memory is kind of disturbing. That also gets me thinking, how long has Resume had enemies? Were there people with doubts even that far back? The fact that a rebel force was eventually established means that Resume had this coming for him a long time ago now. Darius and Cyrus, they were both there during the fall. What about Vivian? If she really is that old, is it possible that she knew? Probably not. Vivian isn't a carrier as far as I know. More like one of Dario's pet projects. At least, she's loosened up since we first met. I'm feeling a bit looser myself too. I almost forgot that I'm supposed to be irritable still, and thinking about why on that. Lance? Are you getting enough sleep? My bed is right over there, you know. I'm fine. You sure? I bet a nap would fix those bags under your eyes. Thanks, but no thanks. Sounds like a trap to add me to your collection. Bah, you caught me. And a life-size doll would have made it feel like a real family too. Count me out. Vivian waggles her brow at me, then pauses with a finger under her chin. You know, if it were you trying to get me out back then, I bet that we would have made it. Wouldn't have tried it in the first place. I mean, I like you, but not that much. You can't get enough of me, else you wouldn't still be here. I grunt at that. Oh please, don't get huffy. I was just thinking out loud anyway. Even if I could leave this place, it wouldn't do me any good. Why do you say that? I've got the same problem as you. There's no one out there waiting for me anymore. There's a touch of melancholy in her voice, but that smile is still present. No reason to leave and no desire to stay. Funny how that can happen. And besides, who would take care of my plants if I were gone? I can't just leave them behind. I drop the tension in my shoulders and put on a smirk. How about this? Once you do make it out of here, I'll take them off your hands. What do you mean? My roommate owns a farm. I bet that he could teach me a thing or two. Couldn't be too hard to take care of a few plants anyway. Just throw some water on them, right? Don't get ahead of yourself. Horticulture is far more complicated than you think. If anything goes wrong, or if I find out that you mistreated them, then you'll have to answer to me. Horto, what now? Exactly. She giggles and waves her hand at me. Tell you what, I'll cut you a deal. Simply refer to me as your older, wiser sibling from now on, and I'll share my wealth of plant-based knowledge with you. Yeah, in your dreams. She smiles back down at the tiger, threading her fingers through its cheeks. I don't think that I've ever said this enough, but I do appreciate you coming by. Really. Most people who check in on me don't stick around for very long. Honestly, everyone else who works here barely acknowledges that I exist. They do their wellness checks, then go about their merry way. Doesn't sound like a bad idea. I should try doing that too. Now hold on a minute. Let's not get too hasty. Oh? So you're saying that you can't get enough of me? Vivian crosses her arms in defeat. Yes, you're fun to be around once I get past your poor career choices. My ears spin back. I mean, it's not like I chose to be here. I know. Well, if it means anything, then I'm glad that you enjoy my company, I guess. Good. A mutually beneficial arrangement. Now just say the magic words and we can begin your first lesson on tropical versus temperate plant care. And I'm out. Hey, you're not even gonna try? Are you really all bark and no bite? I roll my eyes. Well, I'd love to stay for my big sister's plant seminar. I can't. I gotta get back to work soon. Oh? What is it today? Guard duty? Or patrolling the city, maybe? She watches my face closely. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. She sighs and then the heavy feeling sinks down into my stomach again. What is wrong with me today? Alright then. I'm feeling generous, so I won't be assigning you any new missions this time. However, since you did canonize me as the elder sibling of this relationship, I decree that you will try to get some rest ASAP. Hold on. And now you may take your leave. I've got a lot of napping to do, and so little time to do it in. With that, she wheels herself over to her bed, then takes her time climbing onto it despite the tubes in her back. You okay? Just dandy. You're dismissed. She says it in a put-on sleepy tone, before faking her own snoring sounds. Vivian almost looks comfortable surrounded by all those stuffed animals. Her family. I let out my own loud yawn, noisily pop my back with a stretch, then drag myself to the door. Sleep well, Viv. Once I'm out of the hallway, I make for the elevator. It's worse now. That heavy feeling, like a fist unfurling deep in my stomach, sending up waves of nausea. That's when I realize what I've been doing wrong. For the past week, I've kept all my own business to myself. And now twice in the same day, I haven't been able to keep my damn mouth shut. Whoever called it spilling your guts got it right. That's exactly how it feels. I'm such a fucking idiot. I pick a spot on the lift's metal paneling and start tapping a beat on it with my forehead. Benji, Vivian. If those two knew why I was really here, they'd never speak to me again. And that'd be two more people who hate my guts. Good. That'd be fine with me, as long as I don't have to feel like this ever again. I bonk my head a bit too hard and curse under my breath. But what if I told them everything, and they didn't hate me? Because it does feel good in the moment to talk about that kind of stuff. Sometimes. The elevator dings and I look down to check if my head mashing exercise had somehow pressed the button. It hadn't. The door splits open anyway, and I'm greeted by, "Oh, I was just looking for you, my man of the hour." Great. So that's where I'm gonna leave it for today. I know that I'm cutting it at a very weird spot, but the video ends up being around 2 hours, and there is no really good way to cut it further along, so I'm gonna have to cut it right here. So, this is the part of the update where you're gonna be seeing some contradictory things being said about Lance. At the very beginning of this, you kind of get the sense that Lance still is very uncomfortable being where he is, but at the very least, he kind of has some friends. And I mean, I'm pretty sure that Lance doesn't see them as friends, but that doesn't change the fact that Benji sees Lance as a friend. And Vivian, at the very least, sees him as a good person, as a, maybe not a friend, but like, maybe getting there. And despite the fact that Patsy and Saber are sort of like, yeah, like, this guy has any friends? Like, yeah, there's a reason why this guy is like the way he is, and like nobody is seen around him, but like, it's because he hasn't let himself open to these people, with good reason, because I mean, Patsy and Saber are King's subordinates, and they are by association the bad people. Anybody who works with Resume is the bad people, according to Lance, and pretty much according to anybody else, but like, they are his teammates, and he's not doing anything to sort of dissuade the idea that he is bad and that you should not associate with him. Which, I mean, to be fair, you wouldn't really want Patsy and Saber or King to be like, yeah, this is a good guy. Because they're the bad guys, unfortunately. But, I still like Saber. I really like his design, and Patsy's, but like mostly Saber. I don't know. Anyways, but yeah. I kind of feel, and you're gonna see this in the next video, where it's like, yeah, like this guy has friends, he just doesn't realize it. And then the next part, you're gonna be like, oh my god, Lance, why? Why? But I kind of feel that it's by design, not by like Jericho's design, where it's like, yeah, I'm gonna twist this character. No, I think it's gonna be more by design of this is what Resume is or wants to do with Lance. But you'll see what I'm talking about, because obviously you don't know what I'm talking about yet. I'm excited for you to see that part next. But anyways, like I said, I kind of had to cut it here because it's like 2 hours in total, and there was no real, like, really good place within the next few minutes to cut it at like 1 hour and 1 hour. So unfortunately, I had to cut it now. Anyway, so yeah. What are your thoughts so far on what's going on about Lance and his situation? About Benji and Vivian, and about the fact that Vivian is kind of hinting to something that people were sort of wanting or hinting at themselves? Do you think that it's possible that Vivian is that one specific person, or that she is just, she happens to resemble someone else, and she happens to have a friend who, you know, who died, obviously, because, you know, they're dead, but who is somebody close to Cyrus? Wink wink. But yeah, what are your thoughts? Write it down in the comments, and thank you all for watching / listening. If you would like to play Remember the Flowers yourself, you can do so by going down to the link in the description, which will have a direct link to the itch.io page where you can download and play the game yourself. They do have a Patreon in case you want to support the project and get early build of Remember the Flowers as they're being, you know, written. And hopefully now with the release of Interlude 3, it means that we'll be getting into a more regular update schedule for Remember the Flowers, because it has been a while since the last update came out. I think it was the Halloween update, which means what, like, it was October, so we had November, December, January, February, March, April, May, June. It's like 8 months, 9 almost. But yeah, hopefully we'll be seeing more Remember the Flowers, or at least in a more regular update schedule. This is still one of my favorite visual novels, especially because even like with like these updates, it's like you get more insight into the characters, and then they change, they get more complicated and things like that. Like, you would think, again, that Lance was always sort of stuck at the hip with Aaron, but it wasn't Aaron, it was Reggie. It was Reggie who was more, who he felt closer to, who he was more emotionally attached to, even after Reggie sort of just became his coworker. It was Reggie who he considered his one true friend, not Aaron, even though he was dating Aaron at one point. Not even after Aaron, after he beat him up, it was always about Reggie. It was never really about Aaron. That's also an interesting thing to think about. But anyways, yeah, so, comment. And if you would like to support the project, the channel, you can subscribe to become a channel member, which gives you earlier access to the videos as they're being scheduled. And because it's Remember the Flowers, I'm going to make it so that the public can watch it a little bit sooner than usual. Usually you have to wait 2 weeks, but I'm going to try to make it so that it's at least 1 week. But yeah, everything else is, it's being scheduled like at least 2 weeks in advance. But yeah, anyways, so, what else? Also, Ko-fi in case you want to support the channel through that means, or Throne in case you want to, throw me a bone. But yeah, so, I guess that's it for now, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.